Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick from MitigateStress.com. In this video, we're going to be discussing our Mitigate Stress 4 pillars. We have move, nourish, environment, and mental. And all four of these components are critical to achieving your health and fitness goals. Yes, we're going to be discussing our philosophy. This is a video about who we are, what we do, of course. But I wanted to do this video specifically for you guys and gals because we're overwhelmed with so much conflicting information out there that I want to simplify some things. And by the end of this video, I want you to take home these four pillars and apply them right now by the end of this video in your routine, in your day-to-day life. And I'm telling you, you're going to achieve your health and fitness goals so much more efficiently without so much stress, right? That comes along with trying to build your own routine. So number one is movement. We have four subcategories in this one. That is walking, trigger pointing, corrective exercises, and play. Walking is like your self-diagnostics tool. You have to do it. It's your foundation. Your walking or gait mechanics is basically our human blueprint. We're designed to move and we're designed to walk from point A to point B. We don't deadlift from point A to point B. We walk. So why would you not want to practice it daily and optimize it daily? Because it's going to spill over into every aspect of your health and fitness as a whole. And we talk about that down below with another video that we did, I think, last time. And yeah, that's walking. Got to do it every day. It's a self-diagnostics tool. When you do it, what that means is basically you expose pain and pulling and asymmetries and deficiencies within your gait patterns, and then you take that knowledge that you received from that diagnosis and you go into your trigger pointing, right? You go to trigger point that soft tissue that's pulling, that's tight, that's tender, and we're talking about deep tissue trigger point therapy release. Yes, you can do some guasa, which is more superficial, and some dry brushing, but deep tissue trigger point therapy is what we're talking about. And then you go straight into the corrective exercises. These correctives are more specific to optimizing your walking gait mechanical function, but we're gonna have to do a couple videos on the correctives that we're talking about. We will have a walking guide coming soon. Be on the lookout for that. And then we go into play. Then we gotta see how we perform with our play, whether that's shadow boxing, Muay Thai, judo, or maybe you play football or baseball, some sports. You wanna visualize an opponent and you want to start playing and getting more dynamic, right? So that's the movement category. Now, strength also falls into the correctives. That's what we're doing with the correctives. We're optimizing that length-tension relationship together. When you think of strength, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just, squeezing. No, you want to stretch these fascial lines to its entirety, and you want to engage and activate them at the same time. So length, tension at the same time, right? Then we have nourish. That's our second category. That is food, calories, macros, that's the first one. Then we have our micronutrients, then we have supplementation, and then we have hydration, like the type of water you're drinking. So food, calories, and macros, this is a whole video we could talk about for hours alone. And that's basically what type of food you're eating, making sure that they're not dead calories like a lot of people try to eat nowadays. We're trying to make sure that we're maximizing our nutrition, of course, but we're also making sure that we're getting enough calories and we're not becoming so obsessed with every little calorie that we're eating. We do want to make sure that we get calories first and that we're getting sufficient amounts of macronutrients from each category, such as carbs, fats, and proteins. Now, that ratio will be dependent on your environment. I have done a ton of research on microbiome, gut health, and how it relates to your environment. And there's quite a few doctors. The literature is pretty compelling, pretty clear that our microbiome is 100% adaptable, but related and dependent on our environment. So if you're in the dead of winter here, nothing's growing. You're most likely going to be a carnivore or a more lacto-ovarian, pescatarian, vegetarian, but you're definitely not going to be a vegan in the dead of winter. Of course, in today's world, we have unnatural grocery stores, but when SHTF, crap hits the fan, you're going to be a carnivore, unless you're eating some crappy canned food that's not healthy. So micronutrients, and I don't want to talk about that too much because I don't want to piss anyone off. That's a subject that's definitely very controversial, so we'll say that for another video. So micronutrients are minerals, your bioavailable minerals, enzymes, cofactors, and bioavailable vitamins, of course. Again, we're just trying to say, make sure that you're being smart about the food that you're eating, you're doing your research, and you're just eating food that is nutrient dense, not dead calories. Supplementation, I've spent over $20,000 to $30,000. I always talk about this over my course of life for the last 20 years. So many different supplements. And how ironic that I now own a supplement business with my business partner Nathan, and we create the world's best magnesium bicarbonate. We also sell Shilajit, the purest form on the planet, or purest source. And that's basically your trace minerals, 70 carbon bonded trace minerals, and the magnesium is basically your macro mineral, the master mineral like we call it. All other minerals kind of depend on magnesium. And that leads us into our next one, which is hydration. You don't want to just drink plain water. You want to restructure it and make sure that you're getting minerals from that water, because water is a solvent. It will pull minerals from you, and it will also strip the mucosa lining if you drink too much water at a given time. You want to sip like an IV throughout the day, like we always talk about. Sip about 2 tablespoons every 5 minutes or so, every 10 minutes throughout the day, and that is just going to hydrate you so much better than just gulp, 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 gulp when you feel like it, right? And so with the water, you're reconstituting that water with magnesium bicarbonate like we sell, or some Shilajit carbon bonded trace minerals. You can also add a little squirt of lemon, lime juice, and some other things you can do as well. Let's get into environment. We have light, EMF, air, water, our direct environment, such as the chemicals, VOCs, off-gassing, fabrics, or couches, or bedding, or clothes that we wear, etc. So light, basically, to summarize this, it's basically just the right light at the wrong times and avoiding and mitigating the wrong light at the wrong times. So we don't want this crappy blue light at night after the sun has gone down, because our body, our sensors are going to assume that it's basically 12 o'clock noon in the middle of Africa, because that's how bright the light is basically. And in the morning, we want to make sure that we get our natural sunlight exposed to our naked eye and our skin preferably. And also, to block the wrong light at the wrong time, I don't have my glasses, but you use these red, blue blocking glasses like we always talk about, True Darks. We have a code below if you want to support us. And then also the Gamma red light, which is our favorite, no flicker rate, low EMF. There's so much we can talk about. We'll have some blogs down below that you can look more into that, because that's a whole nother video itself. EMF. EMF is basically electromagnetic frequencies. There's a lot of people that say, well, non-ionizing radiation isn't harmful to the human body. It's not that simple. And when we think of stress, well, EMF can be very stressful, like a Wi-Fi signal, because it's a consistent pinging of a same frequency. It's not dynamic and varying algorithms such as nature, which has the wind coming through the trees, the leaves, you have the birds, different frequencies, you have the sounds of the air, the rocks, the water flowing, etc. And so that's very calming. But when the body is exposed to these frequencies that are just the same over and over and over again, it can become very irritating. It can kind of prevent you from getting into that parasympathetic state. We go into a whole EMF blog down below. We talk about scalar frequencies and stuff, which people don't bring up, which completely debunks that whole non-ionizing radiation being not dangerous, which it is, it can be. But that's something to look into. Also, grounding sheets. I put one on my bed. That has been a game changer. I really like those. And then we also affiliate with Magnetico. That's a pretty good brand as well. A little expensive. Start with the grounding sheets, and then you can work up to there. So the air is air quality. Do you filter your air, and do you crack your window wherever you are, at your work, while you're driving, while you're inside your house, while you're sleeping? Always crack a window just a little bit. And always have an air filter, preferably in every room. That gets a little expensive, but at least just move it around and clean your house, obviously. That's important. Water. What you shower in, what you bathe in is important. Get a shower head filter. Obviously, what touches your skin does get absorbed into your body. And over 40,000 chemicals in most people's water. And then we also have the water that you drank. We recommend the Omeka 12-stage reverse osmosis water filtration system. We don't recommend distilled water because it doesn't remove the acids. But if you want to drink distilled water and just use our magnesium bicarbonate to neutralize the acids, that's fine too. But we recommend the RO filter and just reconstitute it with some minerals like we always talk about. And finally, number E, or 5, is our direct environment. Your paints. You can get non-toxic paints. Your furniture, your couches, your fabrics that you wear on your body, your bedding, what you sleep in 8 hours a night. You want to be aware of these chemicals, these VOCs, this off-gassing that is occurring from our vinyl flooring, as well as any mold or mildew in the house, because yes, the forest contains a lot of mold. It's natural. It's a natural component to life, but the mold found in the forest is feeding off of natural raw materials, whereas in your house, it's feeding off, again, chemical laden products, synthetic products, VOCs and stuff like that, varnishes, right? So we want to be aware of that. neutralize the mold, get a dehumidifier, get a humidifier maybe in your bedroom if you need, but get a dehumidifier for your house if you are in a humid environment, because you definitely want to take care of any mold and prevent it from overgrowing and eating those nasty chemicals and creating nasty off-gassing reactions. So that's pretty much environment, your light, your EMF, your air quality, your water, what you shower in, what you drink, as well as your direct environment, what you wear, what you sleep in, etc. And then finally, mental. This is probably the biggest one that I've been working on last year, or since this year actually, and a little bit starting the end of last year. And I gotta say, it's made a huge difference reading Dr. John Gottman's work, who's a PhD in, I believe, psychology or something. And he wrote the book Emotional Intelligence. So if you aren't reading anything about emotional intelligence, I highly advise you guys get into that work of Dr. John Gottman. It has been life-changing for me. I cannot recommend it enough, because your reaction, your ability to handle stress from a mental perspective kind of does trump everything else we're talking about. And like I said, your movement, I do have it as number one, because that will influence how you absorb nutrients, how you assimilate nutrients, how you digest, how you think, and how you detoxify toxins and stuff like that. Your mental, you cannot overlook it. This is why it's another critical component of our 4-pillar system. And that is, number one, going to be emotional intelligence. Look into that work. I'm not going to get into that too much. Number two is going to be structure, get organized, write in a journal daily, develop habits for your day, organize your day, clean your house, that kind of thing. I kind of put that all in one category. That's just something that you should start being aware of, because that's going to make you so much less stress when you declutter, when you minimize your life, when you minimize your environment, when you can see everything, when you know where everything is. I'm speaking from experience. And then finally, stress response. Woo! Reactivity. Man, this one is my number one for sure. And I used to rely on weed and other drugs and stuff and alcohol to try to numb myself, because I had poor reactivity, I had poor emotional intelligence, and I had a very poor stress response. And like I said, you can do all this other stuff, but if you're not dealing with how you react, how you respond to certain situations, because challenges are going to come up every day. Problems are going to occur every day. It's how you overcome them, it's how you react to them is what makes the difference. How you respond to that stress is what makes the biggest difference. So again, how you respond to stress, how you react is everything. And doing these things will help over time to develop that more mature stress response, to be more patient, to be more calm, cool, and collected. But nonetheless, just developing mental habits in order to lessen that intense stress response and reduce any chance of reacting poorly to any given situation is going to change your entire life so drastically much. You're not even going to recognize yourself, I'm telling you. So that's pretty much our 4-pillar system. Apply it, understand it. Hopefully this made sense to kind of organize some things. Again, with movement, we're talking about walking, our self-diagnostics tool. Then we go into trigger point therapy release. We go into corrective exercises designed to optimize your walking gait mechanics. Then we talk about playing, right? Then nourish. We've got to make sure that we're getting enough calories, macronutrients, and then making sure that those calories aren't dead calories, micronutrients. Making sure that we're supplementing what we need. You can go to a doctor and get some blood work done, that's fine. And then making sure that we're hydrating with proper structured water. It's not just dead water, you know, that's just leaching minerals. And then we got environment, light in the morning, at night, the right light at the right times, blocking the wrong light at the wrong times, EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, as well as grounding, air quality, water, cracking a window open, bathing in clean water, drinking clean water, direct environment, making sure we're limiting these toxins and allergens and mold and stuff like that, mildew. And then finally, mental, emotional intelligence, making sure that you're structuring and organizing your life, your day, your environment, your journaling, your habits. It's nice to write things down, to write your thoughts down, to see it and organize it. And then finally, stress response, how you react to stress as a whole. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I sure did, because this has changed my life, and I hope it changes yours as well. All right, God bless. See you next time. Peace.